Hey, what's going on? Back here again with another episode of Craven Some Raven. So, last night, kind of weird, but I had a dream about the draft. I was never really had a dream about that or anything, but I remember in the dream I was watching the draft or listening to it, or I just remember hearing the Ravens pick a guy in my dream and reacting to it, which is kind of weird. I've never really had that before. But you know what? In my dream, the Ravens selected Clelin Ferrell out of Clemson, the edge defender. And I know it's just a dream. Can't really read into it. But if this comes true, god damn, I got superpowers. And you know what? I'm hyped. I'm a goddamn psychic. Or a psychopath, either way. Before the day started, I was thinking I'm gonna record an episode of Craving Some Raven tonight. About what? I don't know. But they had the conferences for Earl Thomas and Mark Ingram, and then surprise, surprise, Jerry Rosburg actually retired too. Watching the press conference, I loaded it up right when it started. I was at work, planning on just listening to it. And so, I had it in my pocket, and it was starting, and John Harbaugh started talking, hey, you notice something's different? And then I pull out my phone, and I was like, what is Jerry Rosburg doing? And who's this other guy? What's going on here? Thought they might announce some kind of charity or something. But no, Jerry Rosburg, he is retiring. And he's been our special teams coordinator for a while. I don't know since when. I think he was there, I think he started in 2011. Don't quote me on that. But he's an integral part of why the Ravens special teams has been so successful. Mostly it's because of Justin Tucker and Sam Cook, but, the old wolf pack there. But, coaching, when it comes to recovering kicks and punts and shit like that, he plays a big part in that, especially in, calling fake punts and everything, getting everything set up. So, sad to see him go. Hearing him talk, it seemed like he was talking about his kids and missing games and stuff. But the way he was talking, I would not be surprised if something comes out talking about his health. He might have gotten diagnosed with cancer or something. Because the way he was talking seemed like someone who is diagnosed with a terminal illness and just wants to be with his family instead of coaching football. And it's just the way it sounded to me. I don't know if it is or is not. I wish the best for him. Hope he finds enjoyment in whatever he does next. He seemed like a nice guy. I thought he'd be a head coach. Someone would try to follow what the Ravens did by hiring a special teams coordinator at head coach. Now, he might have been the last one. I think John Harbaugh is the last special teams coordinator to get hired as a head coach. Maybe another team trying to think outside the box would try to hire him. That's what I thought would happen. Now, he was older, but some guys, they just want to keep doing it. But obviously not him anymore. So I was kind of surprised by that. The guy taking over is... Well, let me look his name up because I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, so Chris Horton's going to be taking over. Just someone who was an assistant. So it's good to see they're staying in house. Don't go out of house. Keep your own guys, which is good. He's a younger guy. Been involved with the special teams. I like what he had to say. Seemed pretty legit. Hopefully they can kind of continue the success that the Ravens kind of always seem to have on special teams. So getting on into the rest of the press conference, they introduced Mark Ingram and Earl Thomas, which is great. I saw Mark Ingram especially super hyped. He seemed to want to come to Baltimore, and he said some awesome things about the Ravens, trying to make an identity on offense that the league hasn't seen before, which is, I think, what Ravens fans have been talking about since the end of the year. The Ravens, they seem with Greg Roman and Lamar Jackson that they're going to do something special on offense. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I think is going to happen. And it's good to see some other players around the league are also seeing that, so they want to play here. And John Harbaugh was saying that, a lot of players want to come play for us, especially like running backs and stuff, because they've seen what we did last year. They done had seen it, and seeing how successful they are with the run, and them talking about how they just want to do it even more and be even better. People want to come play for us, and that's awesome. It's amazing. And another thing, like watching Earl Thomas's press conference, I'm no like CSI like body language reader. I didn't go to Body Language U, but just watching his the way he spoke and kind of the way his facial expressions were, he seemed really uncomfortable. Was that because he's uncomfortable with the Ravens? I hope not. Because seeing the press conference, hearing him, he was talking about, I thought I was going somewhere else, and then also hearing him and looking at him and thinking, man, he looks super uncomfortable. It threw up a red flag for me. But, I think I might just be reading into things. If I put my money on it, I think he's just uncomfortable in front of a lot of people talking. He's a ball player. He obviously isn't the most well-spoken person. Just judging by the way he spoke. It was just something I noticed, and kind of like someone who's not comfortable in their own skin talking to other people. It's kind of a red flag. But I mean, we've seen Earl Thomas, take this league over by storm. He's going to be a Hall of Famer with his play on the field. So if anybody else was thinking the same way I was, reading his body language, kind of the way he spoke, that everything spoke uncomfortable. But my guess is that's just because he's uncomfortable being in front of a lot of people and speaking. Because the Ravens also put out a one-on-one interview, and he seemed much better in that. And he revealed that it was the Chiefs. The Chiefs were going to sign him for like a 1 or 2 year deal until his agents called and said, hey, the Ravens got you a mega deal. Is that what you want? And then he probably saw that and was like, man, mega deal, hell yeah. Got it on the table and then go play for the Ravens? Hell yeah. And I was on YouTube last night, and I was watching Joe Nubo and SZG Sports. They do a podcast, BPA, best podcast available. Check them out. Check out both their channels on YouTube. They cover Ravens stuff, as fans, for the fans. Really good stuff. And they're doing a live stream. And then right after that, went on Sit to Tally. He was doing another live stream, and he's a coach. I don't know, they call him Coach Evans, so I guess he's a coach. He also did a live stream. He does a lot of tape breakdown, and so just if you get a chance, subscribe to them and check them out. So that I was in the chat, talking up a storm, saying some bullshit, but people in the chat, we started talking about, this new Ravens secondary. They need a nickname, bro. They need a nickname. I suggested Purple Rain, like instantly, right away, without thinking about anything. Yeah, not the best, obviously. We're going to have to workshop this. So I'm thinking someone else mentioned Nevermore. I really like that as a good nickname, throw the ball, Nevermore. Or, the typical, since we're bird team, no fly zone. I'm thinking it's got to be Maryland related, Maybe something like I-90 no fly zone, like I-95, but I-90 I don't know. We got to come up with one. Okay? This has to be, I think the secondary is so legendary. It's going to be legendary. They're going to put up some crazy stats that it's going to need a nickname. Something maybe like something to do with crabs maybe. I don't know. The Old Bay, Chesapeake Bay. I don't know. We're going to have to workshop this. If I come up with something good, I'm going to... 5 seconds of someone saying, what should the nickname be? I was like, Purple Rain. And I was like, I don't know. But then I also really like Nevermore. Just because that's super Maryland. Ooh, what about like Edgar Allan no catch? Edgar Allan no pass? I don't know. We'll work on it. But also in other news, the Ravens signed this guy, Justin Bethel. I'm going to go with Bethel. Just because it doesn't seem like a Bethel. Yeah, he played for Arizona for 6 years. And then Atlanta last year. And it was just one of the signings like, what? Who is this guy? What? Why? Like, why? And then I was looking at the Ravens, they put out some information on him. And, he's a special teams kind of guy. Like 88 tackles on special teams. That's a lot of fucking tackles. So obviously, if this guy makes the team, he's going to be your 53rd man on the roster. Someone who brings special teams, prowess, excellent on special teams. And I was looking him up, trying to find highlights. And he's got some interceptions. He's gotten 4 interceptions in his career. And 3 of those he returned for touchdowns. And that's because he seemed to make those plays in zone. So obviously he's a better zone corner than he is man to man. So maybe if we want to do like some zone coverage, maybe throw him in there. He played free safety in college. Kind of one of those in between guys. Not quick enough to play corner, but not big enough to play safety. But hey, they want another ball hawking free safety type. He seems to be the guy. Like all his interceptions came on reading the quarterback. Anytime he's reading the quarterback's eyes, he seems to make plays. And then some of his highlights, it was blocking kicks. So I think the Ravens are straight up just trying to replace Ed Reed. They got Earl Thomas. They got hit that part of Ed Reed's game playing safety. But you know what they need? They need someone who can off the edge of the field goal unit who can block a kick. I think he had 2 or 3 that I saw on tape. And he's pretty good at it. He took a few of them to the house. Sorry if my voice sounds weird. I'm throwing a dip, so. Obviously, this is a super professional podcast. High dollar over here. Unedited, uncut. Actually, there are a few pauses in this just because I didn't want to spit too much while recording, even though I did. Shit, I just realized I didn't have my mic in for a little while. Damn it. So if it goes from semi good quality to shit quality, well, that's why you know why. I took out the microphone out of my phone. I just had this little lapel mic plugged into my phone. I took it out to listen to it because I had to go back and cut something else because there's a loud noise that happened. So, anyways, deal with it. But getting back to what I originally started with, I had a dream. The Ravens selected Clelin Ferrell. And if that happens, I'm a fucking god, right? And originally, my reaction, during the dream was, no, I don't really like that. Watching his tape before, they're saying he's going to be one of the top guys, and I just thought, there's some other guys who have better potential. But going back and watching his tape again, because after I woke up and was like, what the fuck? I had to watch his tape again because if we got a dream about it, that means there's a possibility that it actually comes true. So I was like, I gotta do my homework because this could end up being their first round pick at pick number 22 if he falls. And watching his tape again, his only negative is that he's not a natural bender, so a lot of his plays I saw he would get great jump, great acceleration, but once he gets to the quarterback's depth, he has trouble flattening out, and he kind of stiffens up, and we'll get kind of ridden out of the play. The O lineman will just kind of keep his hand on that inside shoulder and just push him out of the play. But he can still, he stacks up against the run, and he's good against good at getting to the quarterback. You know, his get off is elite, got good speed, but it's just like, if you got great speed, why aren't you that good at bending? You know, but he's got a good counter move. He does like a vicious hand swipe move, you know, going inside. And I saw him do a spin move a couple times. And, you know, being on that Clemson defense, you know, a lot of success. Just because everyone else has to be double covered. That whole Clemson D-line is just very impressive. You know, some of the times as he had success, but his teammates just happened to get to the quarterback before him. And, you know, I was hoping that maybe the Ravens would draft the other edge defender out of Clemson, just because he's going to be the one that falls to the second or third round. And he was basically just as productive. Like, anytime Clelin Ferrell got to the quarterback, you know, he was right there too. Can't remember his name off the top of my head. Let me look it up. Austin Bryant, that's his name. You know, I thought he was basically just as successful. You know, not the top end talent, but value wise, you get him in the third, fourth round. Way better pick in my eyes. But at some point, you're going to have to take the high end talent. And I think in my dream, at least Clelin Ferrell was the guy for the Ravens at pick number 22. It might not have been 22. Now, I just remember hearing them call Baltimore Ravens select Clelin Ferrell. So, if that comes true, man, like I said, I'm a god. And I can just predict these things. And you also respect the podcast. Yeah, that would be so crazy. Like, not just for me. At least, no, not just for you, but for me. It's going to blow my fucking mind if that's true. If I had a dream about them drafting this guy and they do it, whether I agree with it or not. It'd be crazy, man. It'd be fucking crazy. So, just one more thing I want to touch on. You know, I follow Ravens on, like, everything. And I have, like, their app on my phone. So, I'm always checking the Ravens website, their articles. And they do a late for work every morning. And this kind of basic rundown of stuff that's kind of happened recently. And yesterday, at the very bottom, they have, like, quick hits, you know, verify people on Twitter with their articles and stuff that they've posted that they seem reputable. And this person, Cian, C-I-A-N, this chick is verified. And the tweet was, the one that couldn't throw was the most accurate rookie quarterback in 2018. And there's this little graph here of all of the 5 rookie quarterbacks taken in the first round. And it shows their underneath accuracy, their intermediate accuracy, and their deep accuracy. And guess who was at the top of the list? Motherfucking Lamar Jackson. So, one sec. So, in underneath accuracy, Lamar Jackson was 76.8% accurate, and that was second. Baker Mayfield was first. Josh Allen third, Sam Darnold fourth, and Josh Rosen fifth. Then intermediate accuracy, Lamar Jackson was 52.1%, which was second. Sam Darnold was first. Rosen was third. Baker Mayfield was fourth, and Josh Allen was fifth. In deep accuracy, which is what I think is most important, especially with the way the Ravens offense is going to run, you know, they need those deep shots. Lamar Jackson was 50% accurate on deep passes, and that was first. And then second was Baker Mayfield, and third, Josh Rosen, fourth, Sam Darnold. Josh Allen was fifth. For grand total, overall accuracy, Lamar Jackson was 57% accurate. Sam Darnold was 51.1% accurate. Baker Mayfield was 50.7% accurate. Josh Rosen was 48.8% accurate. And Josh Allen was 41.9% accurate. So I was looking at this, like, who is this person? Where did they get these graphs? Because the whole conversation is that Lamar is the least accurate of all these quarterbacks. Watching the games, sometimes he would throw these duds, and I'm like, man, there's no way he can't. He's just not the most accurate quarterback. That's just the way it is. And I've said it before. He just seems so inaccurate because his misses are just fucking misses. Like he'll miss a guy by 5 yards. He'll hit someone perfectly in stride, but then he'll miss one by like 5 yards. And like compared to the other quarterbacks, I thought, his misses were just so atrocious that he seemed less accurate. They just all miss at the same rate. But apparently to this, Lamar Jackson misses the least. Yeah, I don't know how they came up with these numbers, because like completion percentage, he wasn't the top. But, that's also, the Ravens led the league in drop passes. So Lamar was getting no help. But then after looking at this, I don't know how they actually get their numbers. I really don't. They could kind of skew it, like leave out one little stat that puts Lamar above the rest. But it was just something that I thought was surprising. So whenever you hear he's not accurate, like, well, according to the other rookies last year, he was the most accurate. I thought Baker would have been higher. But, maybe it accounts for under pressure throws, and Baker kind of was throwing wild whenever he was under pressure. But it's impressive. So Lamar Jackson was second, and first. Underneath second, intermediate second, and deep first. So hey man, if this is true, look, she's verified on Twitter. Yeah, so check her out at CIANAF. That's her Twitter handle. She's verified, and she was put on the Ravens website. So I don't think they try to put anything inaccurate up there. Or maybe they would, who knows. But that was something that was just very encouraging. I thought you guys should know if you didn't see it. Look it up. I don't know where this website is that they pulled this from. I guess they pulled it from Twitter, but where did she pull her stats from? I would like to check that. But hey man, it looks like it's on a spreadsheet, and spreadsheets take their shit pretty seriously. Excel's a big deal, I had to learn it in high school. But I think that's going to do it for this episode. Just wanted to go over some stuff that happened these past 2 days that I didn't record an episode. And share with you not so much my dream, but the dream I had. My dream is for them not to select Clelin Ferrell. But in my dream they did. So if they end up drafting him, I'm going to be like, hey, I was right. But if he ends up being terrible, I'm just going to say, hey, I didn't think they should have drafted him. But if he ends up being great, I'm going to say I've kind of hedged my bet with this dream. Just because if he ends up being amazing, but see, look, I had the dream, and he's playing well, and it's awesome, and I told you, and that's what's up. So that is what's up. So if you want to support the show, share it, like it, comment on it, rate it, do all that fun stuff. Just don't be mean. If you truly want to support the show, I'm basically doing this for free, if not like actually spending money to do this, just because like having this RSS feed, it costs money to upload the podcast so I can get it to everywhere at once, and then also get all the stats back and everything. So you can join me on Patreon at CSR Pod. That's CSRPOD. Or if you just want to make a one-time payment because you love me so much, just give like a $5 donation because your boy loves covering the Ravens. Hit me up on Venmo. It's just awesome. It goes straight to my phone. Then I can use that to like purchase stuff, especially like a better microphone. And it just keeps me being able to do what I like to do. This is a hobby right now. If I ever had enough followers to make it a job, that'd be dope. So my Venmo is at CSRPod, spelled the same way, CSRPOD. And my email, it's the same too. It's csrpod@gmail.com, spelled CSRPOD. If you want to send me an email, you got any questions, comments, concerns, you want to tell me off, you want to say I'm doing a great job, you have a question, you want me to answer it on a podcast, I'll do that. So with that being said, that's going to do it. Go Ravens.